It's like now it's about 2 p.m. We give it like next 2 hours, it will start raining again.
Wow.
Every day. It's weird. We don't understand why this is happening. Yeah, but it's sad
Wow.
also because the floods are messing up so many businesses, so many people's houses, so many people's livelihoods. People are starting to move out of the city because their homes are underwater. At some point, I moved out of the country, went to Qatar for getting. I got a job there and decided, let me go see how this works. But every day, something was telling me, you leave this place. I know you're making money, but leave this place. You need to go do something else. For some reason, any any Kenyan here, we even have a way. It's like a cultural thing where if there is no avocado in that githeri, in that plate of rice, something is off. There is something missing. You don't want to eat it like that. If you live here for a decade, just 1 decade, any New Yorker can tell you it's almost the same. Because if you make it here, the way New Yorkers say in the US, if you make it in New York and if you make it in Nairobi, you can make it anywhere in the world. When it comes to now the way you're saying, we have some companies here, like some that I like. There's a man called who has a company called Joka Jok. He sells handmade leather goods. So leather bags, attires, watches, the bags, the thing itself. It's called the strap, the watch strap, and such things. He always says he has issues with selling these things within the people of Kenya because they don't appreciate the item itself, not knowing this is the same material that is being sold to other countries, like to a company like Gucci, and then Gucci takes it, brands it the name Gucci, and then sells it back to us. It's the same item, but our people, our own people, have not accepted fully buying from us. That is one big problem. A suit like this, you will make it here and try to sell it for a certain amount of money. When the person notes that it's a suit made here, they have a certain ideology that they don't understand. It's the same quality, but you want something that is made in Italy, Germany, something. We
Oh, we
don't.
don't
We
believe
don't.
in ourselves.
We don't, and it's a bad trait.
Guys, I welcome you live on SBTV International. My name is DJ Nyame. If you just chance on our channel, welcome on board. This platform is open to you guys, or if you want to come on my show to share your story, experience, whatever is happening around wherever you are, you can just join us. My numbers are on the screen. WhatsApp me or send me a voice note that, oh, DJ Nyame, I've seen your channel. I want to come on your show and also share my experience or, what you've learned in life and all that. So, guys, you are welcome on board. And I talk to everybody. I mean, wherever you are across the world, you are welcome on this platform. Today I'm going where? I'm going to Kenya. I have my brother from Kenya. Joe, I
Yes, sir.
welcome you live on SVTV International. How are you doing?
Very, very fine.
Very, very fine. How is Kenya? Recently, I've seen some video about some flood and all that. How is Kenya? Tell us more.
It's crazy. Thank you for welcoming me to your show, and thank you for reaching out. Also, it's a pleasure to know you. Kenya right now, there's a bit of floods everywhere, especially in the capital. It's weird that it has never happened like this before. We don't even understand why it's happening, and then it's a daily occurrence. It's not happening once. It's like something is going on. We can't really explain it. It's like now it's about 2 p.m. We give it like next 2 hours, it will start raining again.
Wow.
Every day. It's weird. We don't understand why this is happening. Yeah, but it's sad also because the floods are messing up so many businesses, so many people's houses, so many people's livelihoods. People are starting to move out of the city because their homes are underwater. Like most of the cars are underwater, so you can imagine how bad that is for everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
So sad. So what is the problem? Is it like a drainage system or what? What is the problem?
Partly yes, and then also we have very many dams in the capital. So you'll find when they overflow in the rivers, because it's called the city in the sun. So you find we have very many rivers in the capital. So when they overflow, all the water comes into every other place, and it's bad. It's messy. It's a bit messy. We hope it doesn't continue, because if it continues like this for another month, it's going to mess up too many livelihoods, and nobody wants that. truly.
I saw a video. I saw a video on social media. I mean, some people walking
Hmm.
on top of the building. They are roofings and they are
Yes.
ceilings. And they are walking, and every place is flat and all that. I mean, it's so sad. It's so sad. I mean, the authorities should work on it to find ways and means to solve this problem
Hmm.
because it's serious. What I saw is serious.
Yeah, yeah, it's bad. It's very tough actually, because you'll find some of the places that we have here, most of the houses, the way they're built, some of them are raised at least above. Like where I live, you'll find the houses is a bit raised. So you find some other houses, the owners have not raised them. So when the water comes, it floods let's say like apartments. The ground level is a bit flooded, but the other ones are okay. So you'll find even the highways. Some of the if you've seen the videos along the highways, like we have a main highway in Nairobi. It's called Thika Road, super highway. You'll find some of the places, especially the roundabouts, they flood. Not because the drainage is bad, but you'll find the drainage has overflown. So it's too much water. Because like now you'll find there is no since yesterday, since it flooded, now there's no water. So now it will be another
Oh,
thing over in the night when it rains again. So it's a continuous it's stressful. It's stressful, my
what?
friend.
How far about you? What about you? Are
Hmm.
you affected?
Not directly, but business
Mm,
wise, it affects because some of the places you want to go to, you can't really go. Some places when you want to drive, the flow, the water is too much, so you can't really go because you don't know what will happen. So most indirectly, yes, I would say that. Housing wise, fortunately, God has been graceful.
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Joel, you are. Let's get to know you. I mean, your life and what you do, what you've been
Uh-huh.
through, what you've learned in life, and everything about you. So, which part of Kenya are you from?
My name first of all is Joel Mwangi Karaoke. The M stands for Mwangi, so Joel M Karaoke. I come from central part of Kenya. I'm part of a community we call Kikuyu culture. This is a Kikuyu people. We're very many, and I think we are everywhere. I think even in your country, you have very many Kikuyus there. So I have business wise, I've done so much. Was before I started speaking, I was doing real estate, so selling high end properties in Kenya, some place called like Kilimani, sides of Karen, Runda, those areas. Then I've been speaking for a long time, but I think it had never become a thing where I know this is the thing I should be doing. I was just meandering through life like everybody else, not knowing there's something that you should be focusing on. Then at some point, I moved out of the country, went to Qatar for getting. I got a job there and decided, let me go see how this works. But
Mm,
every day, something was telling me, you leave this place. I know you're making money, but leave this place. You need to go do
mm,
something else. And that thing is now the reason why maybe you found me is because of that thing. Because it's not even
yeah.
making sense much. Because I started my TikTok channel just a few years back, but I was really not posting anything. I would post a video here, take 2 months, 3 months, nothing. But immediately I got back. I got back to the country in February this year, and immediately started. And for some reason, I think God works in very weird ways, which I sometimes I don't even understand. Things just started picking up. Everything has just picked up from 0 to 100 really fast. So I'm doing interviews here. I'm talking to so many people here. We have an event coming up next week on Saturday, on the 11th. People are requesting to meet and sit and talk, and I'm like, how is this happening now when all this time I was used taking my time to do property because I was selling high
Mm,
end properties and it was working. It was actually doing well. But
mm,
every day I would go out and market a house. I used to do even walkthrough videos on YouTube for property. And it was really not picking. You would sell a house here, rent a place there, meet a client there, but you just know when business is not yours, so for some reason you look
mm.
like the part and you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, but it's not it. That's how now I've gotten to this point where I decided I'm going to do this and focus on it for as long as possible.
Wow.
Mm?
Let's
Yeah.
talk, let's talk about growing up in Kenya. I mean,
Mhm.
tell us more about your family, siblings. Let's get to know you more.
So I have both parents. I have two siblings, but one, my brother. I'm the youngest amongst three siblings. So I have an elder sister and then a brother, then me. But my brother passed on around 4 years ago or so. But I
Oh.
highly appreciate the fact that he was there because I
Mm.
learned a lot. You know, having an older brother, it helps. So I highly appreciate that he was there. My life with family, I would say right now is when I'm starting family. I don't have a
Mm.
family yet, like kids and all that. I have somebody who I'm going to introduce. She's also part of what I'm doing right now. She's my manager
Mm.
actually, and
Mm.
she's also doing something else, which I'm going to introduce her in the coming days or the coming weeks, based on what we've agreed. Then, yeah, I think that's what I would say about family.
Let's talk about education. Your
Education
education
wise,
background.
like the systems you have in Africa, I did the 844. But I went to when I finished my high school. I went to there's a university in Kenya called Kenyatta University. So I'm a firm believer of music. I love music. So immediately I cleared high school. I stayed for about 2 years just outside school, and then decided I'm going to
Mm.
go do music.
Okay.
Because I had done it for a long time.
Mm.
Growing up, I used to do
Mm.
poetry, a lot of poetry. I used to write a lot of poetry, perform it, choral verses, drama, acting everywhere. I used to talk to people a lot. Then in high school, if I was in all groups that had a way of discussing, aside from football. For some reason, football never kicked in.
You don't
But
like football.
anything no, I had an accident when I was a kid. I have a mark somewhere here. I fell, and I
Okay.
think that feeling of that pain, I was like, "Ah, is there a reason for doing this anymore? No, let me just be watching it and not play it anymore." But over the years, I've been acting, performing. At some point, I went to there's a presidential commission for music where everywhere the president goes and you find their musicians or actors performing. It's called PPMC in Kenya, Permanent
Mm.
Presidential Music Commission. So they at the time they used to recruit before we had provinces, not like now that we have different things. Yeah, so they used to recruit people, 2 people per province to train them, and they give you the best teachers. So at some point, I was into that, and I did it for a while, for almost 3 4 months.
Mm. Mm.
Then I went to KU Kenyatta University. We did music for some time. I did it for a whole year, but at some point I was like, it's messing up my parents because of the school fees, and I told my dad, I don't see the need of continuing with this since I can see the way you're struggling. I can tell the way you're struggling, and let me just leave this. I go just start doing business, and we'll figure it out as we go. And that's how me I ended school. But it helped. It helped a lot because the confidence, the performances. I've come to learn about even the sales, all that. I think all that performances, acting,
Mm.
dressing
Mm.
up, doing this has helped even with the sales and even with speaking. I
Mm.
didn't realize it at the time, but when I look at it, when I look back at everything, I was like, yeah, that is why I was doing all these things without understanding. Why are you doing these things? Especially the music. Anytime I tell somebody I used to do music, they're like, what do you mean? Why? Yeah, that's my background for school. Mm?
Okay. Let's talk about your culture. And I know Kenya, people visit Kenya.
Yes, a lot.
People from diaspora, they visit Kenya. And somebody watching us for the first time, tell us more about your culture and all that. Stuff that we should know. If you want to visit Kenya,
Mhm.
things, your food, the place, what and what places to visit and all that.
Okay, Kenyans are very different in the way we interact with everybody. Like first of
Mm.
all, just a joke here, but it's a very serious one. Online, if you find people on Twitter, Kenyans are not people to play around with on Twitter. I don't know. We have a thing that people just know how to. We stand firm with our country. So
Mm.
anytime you go, you're trying to tarnish at a Kenyan, every other Kenyan comes for you. I remember at some point we made CNN come and apologize to the government because they had done something and Kenyans were against it, and they did it. It's a very interesting country where we go through a lot because of maybe our politics and all that, even the flooding that is happening right now. But when you go online, you'll find Kenyans are still laughing, joking about it. we still enjoy the fact that we are one and we stand firm together, no matter what is happening. For some reasons, Kenya, it's even very easy to identify a Kenyan when you're outside the
Mm,
country. Like when I was in
mm.
Qatar, it's very easy to just know this is a Kenyan. There's a certain energy you emanate that we just go forth. Let's do this. Then you'll find in Kenya, you'll find there's a reason why the UN picked this place as their headquarters, and even the ones that is moving from New York right now and coming to set up base in Kenya right now, because aside from just the people and the way the homeliness that the people have and the energy that we emanate, Kenya is very beautiful. Like if you want to come here and spend say a week to just enjoy the place, you will not enjoy it as much because there's so many things to do. There's so many hotels to go to. The animals, like Masai Mara. Everybody out here knows Masai Mara because of say the movies of Simba and all that. But there's so much to do here. Before you say you're going to just spend your time at the coastline, someone else will tell you, leave the coastline, come to the mainland and see the animals. Then someone else will tell you, leave that side, go down to the lake side of this. There's a certain place we call Nyanza, where you have Lake Victoria. You interact with such people, the Luo community, and you'll find now there's a different energy with them because
Mm.
Luos and Nigerians are exactly the same. The way
Oh,
Nigerians speak with strength and they know it's like I know I am strong, I know I'm this type. We have a culture here, a community here called Luos. They're exactly the same. So you find this diverseness that we have. Anytime anybody comes here, most of the time they don't want to leave because you want to either stay longer or do something
mm.
else. But the people are some of the most interesting people I've ever met. For anybody who's ever traveled anywhere outside Africa, we are one of those people who you just want to keep interacting with us because there is so much. There is way too much.
Wow, wow. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the food and all that. What about that? Your food.
Yes, our food, like Kikuyu community loves. There's a particular food we call githeri. So you'll find it's a mixture of maize and beans. So
How
you
do you
just
call it?
boil it. Githeri. It's called githeri.
Gidel.
Githeri, yes.
Gidel.
Githeri, yes. It's a it's just a mixture of maize and beans. But the way now it's cooked, you can mix it with potatoes. Potatoes you have, and then one delicacy that all Kenyans stand with, it's avocados. For some reason, any any Kenyan here, we even have a way. It's like a cultural thing where if there is no avocado in that githeri, in that plate of rice, something is off. There is something missing. You don't want to eat it like that. Then you'll find at the lakeside you have fish. So people in Nyanza province, this side of the lakeside, Lake Victoria, they eat a lot of fish, and
Mm,
they just trickle down to other communities. But mostly those sides are the places where you'll find fresh fish, and
mm,
it's a thing for them. It's a serious thing. Then at the coastline, you'll find now the Swahili people at the coastline of that is Mombasa, Malindi, those areas. You'll find that's where now the Swahili people live, and now Swahilis and the way they have everything, all the spices. It's for them, food is a big deal. They want to sit down, come together. Swahili people, most of them are Muslims, so they want to come together and do it together, eat together, live as families. In Nairobi, that's the capital now of Kenya. That's where all the foods. You want to taste any type of food we have in this country, just come anywhere in Nairobi, and anywhere I'll take you to any spot. You want a high end spot? Some places like Mama Oliech. They have a hotel called Mama Oliech. If you remember when Mark Zuckerberg came to Kenya, that's the first place he
mm.
went to have his fish. That's those Mama Oliech is from the Nyanza side, the Lake Victoria. So you'll find there's so much in terms of food, but rice and then ugali. Ugali is a staple food here. Ugali is just maize flour, and us we don't do it like Nigerians when they put salt and all that. We just take the flour and mix it with water, and then once it becomes a nice paste, it hardens up a bit. That's how it's eaten. No adding any spice, no sugar, no salt, nothing. I've had so many of
Wow.
my friends when they come into the country, they taste it, they're like, why is this thing tasteless? It's like you're just having water. But then the way you eat it with, say, meat, fried meat, or wet. You call it wet fry, where you have meat and some tomatoes together, and then you have it with greens. You when you have now the clear taste that has no salt and all that. When you have it with this the stew, ah, ah, you can
So
even
which
tell.
one? So
You
all
just
the
feel
food
it.
that you mentioned, which one is your favorite?
I stopped having favorites because of one thing. When I
Why?
started interacting with other cultures, I realized I used to love a mixture ugali. Now the ugali, vegetables, skuma wiki and spinach, and then scrambled eggs at the side with an avocado. As long as it's
Mm,
that combined, I can eat that any day for the rest of my life, and I'm good. But now having a balanced diet, that is a balanced diet. And then have tea. Because the British,
mm,
when they left us here, they left us with tea, and we decided it is ours. So tea here is a big deal. Anybody who
mm.
invites you to their home, the first thing they want to give you is tea. Especially now like that it's cold. All homes in the morning and in the evening, there's tea. For some reason, we just
Wow.
decided we just picked it up and it became a thing. But I don't have right now. I don't have like a food I would say it's my own because I've realized there's so many cultures out here, and the way they cook things, the way they cook their fish, the way they cook their eggs is so different. I'm open to testing. The test buds are open because I'm like
Mm,
I want different tastes. I'm even looking
mm.
forward to the day I come to West Africa and we have you show me what people
Oh,
eat.
oh yes, oh yes. I'll one day invite you to Ghana, and I also
Oh
visit
yes,
Kenya one day.
yes, please. You're welcome
I'll
any day,
I'll
any
visit
day.
Kenya one day. Eh? But let's talk about
Uh-huh.
hustling life in Kenya. I mean,
Uh-huh.
about jobs. Let's talk about jobs and all that. You say you traveled to Qatar. Why did you travel to Qatar? Was it
So at
like
the
you were not
time,
finding job or what?
so I'll answer the two questions this way. First of all, let me speak on the Qatar business. So I left this country because I was looking for something that I was not sure what it was. So I wanted to
Mm,
know what else do we have outside Africa? Because I've been
mm,
following very many people in Africa, like Wademaya, Tony Yayo, Steve Dokuo, and I'm like, you see what is happening in Africa. I want to see. I want to understand what else happens outside, especially in
mm,
the Arab world, because you'll find these guys have grown their countries very, very fast. Just the other day in the 1990s, they didn't have much. It's just desert. And in a span of 30 years, they've changed fully. So I wanted to interact with them and see how are they doing this? Because the
mm.
vision I have is very big, and I'm like, let me first see what these people have. Maybe I'll pick something from them. So I left, decided to go there, and I worked for a whole year. And in the process of working, I used to interact with very many people. Here, their culture is a bit different in the way they interact. So you'll have men are always with men, ladies are always with women, unless you're married. So you don't live together unless you're married there. So you when you're a man, you interact with very many men on different days, on different occasions, from all over the
Why?
world.
Why? What happened when you interact with women?
It's a cultural thing for Muslims. So for
Oh,
them for
Muslim.
them it's a strict thing because it's a culture thing, and men are supposed to stay with men, women are supposed to stay with women, unless until you get married. That's when you can live
Okay,
together.
okay.
Interaction wise, it's allowed. Even if you're on the street, you can talk. You can talk. You can go have your dinner, your lunch. But now when you're living together, that is not allowed. That is the culture of the Muslims, which is I actually
Okay.
like the fact that it's done that way because you tend to open your mind to so many other things because I was not used to that here. But for your next question, hustling in Nairobi, as people call it here, is one of Nairobi is one of those cities where if you live here for a decade, just 1 decade, any New Yorker can tell you it's almost the same. Because if you make it here, the way New Yorkers say in the US, if you make it in New York and if you make it in Nairobi, you can make it anywhere in the world. Because
Mm,
there's a way Nairobi exposes you to every type of thing that happens in the world. So you'll find you have all the companies, international companies that are here. Let's say you're working to a certain level of career, like sales. If you're selling like the way I was selling property, you interact with people from all over the world, all over. So you'll find once you interact with such people, you open your mind to things that any person outside this city will never understand. then you mess up so many times, because being young, you mess up a lot. So you'll make money and then waste it. Make money, buy a car, buy a big car, and you've not even invested anywhere. Then you lose the car. You get a house, you get a very expensive house because you think now you're making money. Nairobi has a way of putting you back down, taking you back down there, so that you open up your mind. Then you'll find all types of business work in Nairobi. Whatever type of business you want to start, it works in Nairobi because of the numbers. We have very many. We have right now, I think we have close to 3 million people living in the capital. There is no other town that has those numbers in Kenya. So, and most of these people have the money to purchase whatever it is you're selling, because you drive around in here, anyway, any place here, you'll find kayaks everywhere. You find very nice houses, and the type of houses that are being sold here, they are, when you talk of expense, they're high-end houses. So you'll find 20, 30 million, 50, and with very good space. Then you look at the type of houses you'll have in other countries like Western world. It's not even close. That's another thing I love about Africa. We have standards that when you go to other countries, you're like, I think my country looks way better than this. I don't know why I've come here. I think we just lied to in our minds that you need to come here so that you make the money. But you realize after you say it for some time, my country actually has a lot. It's just that your mind was not open to seeing the businesses that you could start. That is how Nairobi teaches you to now use this word we call hustling. And if you make it here because of all this exposure, anywhere you can do things anywhere in this world. That's how Nairobi
Wow.
is. Yeah.
Wow. So 1 year in Qatar, I mean, what brought you back? You were saying something. I mean, you went to hustle to look for money and also
Yes.
look for what is happening there and all that. I mean, what brought you back? How was it? How was
It's
your experience there? I mean, working there out there.
working out there. I'll put it in 3 ways. I had planned. It's a way a man will sit down and say, I need to do this and this and this. So I'm going to go there, get money. I needed to buy equipment because I wanted to start speaking to people. So I didn't have the equipment. I didn't have technical know-how. I knew what I want to come and do, but I didn't have the equipment. I didn't have money like saved up to properly come and sit and say, I'm going to focus on this now because now I have this. So that is one of the reasons why I went there. Two, when I got there, the experience was very different in terms of this interaction with people from different countries made me realize we are all the same. We are exactly the same. We are going through the same struggles, the same stress, the same issues. It's just that we find our skin color or the way we interact with ourselves is different. But we are exactly the same. And that country opens you up to the systems they have. If it's set up in a way that the government doesn't really force you to do anything, you'll find systems just work. In Qatar, everything just works. You'll find even on the highways, people don't drive recklessly, and they drive recklessly. Police are everywhere. Police, you can stop any policeman and start having a discussion with them. It was weird for me because in Kenya you don't really do that. There you have a small issue, even going to any government office, things are done like this very fast. That's an experience that I have not experienced in our country, sadly to say. Then you also that 1 year, one of the reasons why, sadly to say this, one of the reasons why I really had to leave is the economy there is set up in a way you're there to work, not do anything else. So if you're working, most people will leave their work between 12 and 14 hours every single day. Every single day. Now, coming from a place where in Nairobi you're used to, even if you have your business, you're used to having at least a day off, 2 days off. At least you have people you can interact with on a daily basis, say in the evening or in the morning, going to church here, doing things there. There it's not possible for most people because the time that you're working, it's too much and you need to sleep. That one also, it used to, for most people, if they are being very honest, it messes you up. It really messes you up. And then
Work, no life.
yeah, you just working. There is nothing else you do. Yeah, you're there with your phone. Most of the people you spend the time there, they're always on their phones because most of the work that they do, it's not really manual work that you have to lift things because They have machines there and everything, but you're always at the job. So mentally, it's draining. It's really, really draining. Physical work drains you physically, yes, but I think mental gets to a point where when you are there, it drains you to a point where you can even go crazy, but at least the systems are okay. So you need help, there's someone to talk to. You need this and this and this done, the hospitals are there. And they're I would say you can get any form of help that you need. It's accessible, but it's draining. It's very, very
Mm.
draining mentally. And it messes up with you in a way that if you stay there for long, people who stay there for more than 3, 4, 5 years, most of them are very quiet. They don't say much because now they've gotten used to this. So for me, as I said in the first point, I wouldn't stay there because I had this plan of let me go do this, get the money, and then leave. Just leave, go back, come back, and do this because this is what I have always wanted to do. It's just that I didn't know at the time I'm supposed to be doing this. Yeah. So the job wise, money wise, it's a good place. It's a good
Mm.
place. Yes.
Mm. Mm. So
Yes.
after when you return back to, after Qatar, when you came back to Kenya, let's
Mhm.
see life now. Uh, what are you doing now? Are you making some good ends and all that? I mean,
Yes. So I'm solely focused on two things. One is speaking, and that's
mm,
as I said earlier. We have a first event or next week on Saturday on the
okay,
11th of May, and the second thing I sell clothes. So that is a business to help me at least manage this one because it's the main business that I'm focused on. So it's not a business that I'm there 100% all the time because I have somebody to help me do that so that I solely
is it
focused
used
on
clothes or
business.
what?
No, new, brand new,
New
brand new
clothes, okay.
clothes.
But you guys
Yeah.
have used clothes there.
Oh, ooh, yes, we call them Tumba.
Tumba,
we have we have one of the biggest markets in Africa where it's
Tumba.
called
Is that
Gikomba.
Tumba, right?
Yeah, Mtumba. Mtumba is second-hand
Tumba.
clothes. That's the mean. Mtumba.
Okay.
We have one of the biggest second-hand clothes market here. It's called Gikomba. It's in Nairobi, the capital itself. It's one of the
Okay.
biggest, and any type of designer clothes you want, you'll find them there. Second-hand ones, and
But the
it's
second hand and the new one, which one goes faster?
it's for Nairobi both. For Nairobi, it's both
Oh,
because you'll find there are people who just solely rely on that type of quality because of the price. And then there are people who take the minute they start making some money, now they move to the new clothes. But there are towns here that are very weird. There's some towns you'll go to, like a place in there's a town called Meru. People there buy brand new clothes. You try to sell them second-hand clothes, they don't want. So here it
oh,
depends on for that type of business. It depends on your the market that you're targeting. If you want to target people who don't want to spend too much money on a piece of attire, you now go to the second-hand clothes, and they sell. People have become millionaires here selling mitumba. Yeah.
wow. Wow.
Yes.
Are you making money from it since you
It,
started
it it is
your
growing. It is growing.
business? It's
It is
growing.
growing. We're really, really, really marketing. We have a very interesting way of marketing it. It's not solely just taking pictures and videos. It's more of comedy so that people can reach out. As they watch the comedy, they look at the person who's doing the comedy and they see she's dressed a certain way. So we are solely focused on marketing it like that. And I know by God's grace it's going to grow because even this is
Wow.
growing. They see the way we met.
Is it imported clothes or the ones that we saw you saw it there?
Right now it's imported. Solely
Mm.
imported from Turkey and China. That's what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
selling right now. Yes.
So do you go for it, or maybe you have somebody who supplies you or what?
Someone supplies to me and then I sell. So he sells them to me wholesale and then now I
Mm.
resell to other people on retail and sometimes wholesale.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh. Let's talk
Yeah.
about, made in Kenya stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
the importation is too much. I mean, what about doing business made in Kenya instead of importing? We can create something, Africa, we can create something and maybe sell it to ourselves and all that so that the money will stay instead of doing importation. Importation. Most of the people are doing importation now.
Yeah. So I'll three things there and thank you for asking this question because I've been looking forward for someone to ask me this so that we can talk about it. One is an issue I have with the way Africa is set up. Africa is set up, even in Nairobi, the capital itself. It is set
Mm,
up in a way that you can't sell things, or the way Amazon works. You can't sell things anywhere across the continent
mm,
directly. You have to go through other people and other channels so that you can, even moving something from here to Uganda is an issue, because you have to send it to through, let's say you're going to use the buses that we have here, the courier services. Once they get to the border, they have to change it because they have to pay taxes and all that. And then once they get there, they have to use another means so that it can, by the time that item gets to the person that bought it from Uganda, it becomes a big issue. So most people just decide, I would rather just import it directly and then just buy it from somebody here. That is one issue we have with Africa in terms of logistics. It's a big issue across countries. Then you'll find even within the mainland itself, me who's selling things in Nairobi or in Kenya, getting my item from here to, let's say, a place like what I was talking about in Nyanza. By the time it gets to that point, we have to keep calling each other so that we can confirm this one has moved from this courier service to this person. Then this person comes, picks it up. Then this one sends it. It's the logistics mess us up so much. Two, when it comes to now the way you're saying, we have some companies here, like some that I like. There's a man who has a company called Joka Jok. He sells handmade leather goods. So leather bags, attires, watches, the bags, the thing itself. It's called the strap, the watch strap, and such things. He always says he has issues with selling these things within the people of Kenya because they don't appreciate the item itself, not knowing this is the same material that is being sold to other countries, like to a company like Gucci, and then Gucci takes it, brands it the name Gucci, and then sells it back to us. It's the same item,
mm,
but our
mm.
people, our own people, have not accepted fully buying from us. That is one big problem. A suit like this, you'll make it here and try to sell it for a certain amount of money. When the person notes that it's a suit made here, they have a certain ideology that they don't understand. It's the same quality, but you want something that is made in Italy, Germany, something. I don't
Then
understand where this comes from.
it's an African problem. It's not only Kenya, because
Yeah,
what you are saying happens here. We don't support our own,
we
or we
don't.
don't
We
believe
don't.
in ourselves.
We don't, and it's a bad trait. Number three, you'll find some of the companies here, even the ones like there's a new car company here that makes cars, very nice SUVs. The same company, it's been set up in a way that it's Kenyan, but it's actually not Kenyan. It's Chinese. The same car, it's called in Chinese, it's called BJ50, something like that. The same car has been produced here. Now they just bring it here and dismantle it, or just bring the parts and then assemble them here, and then it's called Kenyan. They still have an issue where people don't want to buy this car, yet it's been made, the way it's been made has been made that it is perfect for African roads. That car is perfect for the way it's been made, it's perfect for African roads. But they have been having issues trying to sell to Kenyans because Kenyans are looking at it like it's a Kenyan car. They don't want to get it. They still want, as we love these Land Cruisers, the Toyotas, they want the Prados, they want that one because of the name, instead of buying this one that has been made here. Yes, the company itself, they're using the Chinese name and changing the name to us, but the way it's been made, it's perfect for our roads. But this company marketing this car and actually selling it, it's a big problem, because Kenyans or the Africans ourselves, we don't want to take it as it is and actually realize this car is perfect for us. We have a big problem in this country when it comes to our own. We even have one of the best company that makes running shoes here. I'm forgetting the name of the lady, but if you Google it, you'll find there's a lady who makes running shoes here. She was being interviewed the other day, and she was saying how hard it was to convince the Kenyan government to take these shoes and give them to the athletics team. And she didn't actually want the money. She just wanted the team to have the shoes, because the shoes, the way she makes the shoes, the best quality you can think of. You take Adidas or Nike and look at the shoes that they use for running. It's exactly the same quality. And she's making them here. But convincing the Kenyans to buy the same shoe, it becomes a big problem. So as much as you'll find even a thing like this leather is here. This leather is made here. This one,
Mm,
someone makes it
mm.
here. When I buy it from people here, it's very cheap. It's extremely cheap. But now, the minute you take it outside this country, a piece like this, you'll get it for between $50 and $100. Same piece. Here, I'll get it for like less than $1. This one. But convincing people to buy this here is
We
a
would rather
big
we would rather
problem.
go and import it.
They would rather buy the Chinese one that has come that is glittering
It's a big problem. It looks like we don't believe in ourselves. We don't
at all.
support ourselves. That's why we are struggling.
Yes. And I
We
think
believe in
also that
the we believe in the Western world. I mean, stuff
way
coming
too
from
much.
the Western world.
Just look at even your own people there in Ghana. I look at the way Wodemaya struggled, or the way he struggles moving around the country, the continent, getting a
Mm,
visa into a particular country is a big hassle. When he came to Kenya the first time, and they took his items at the airport, the cameras and all that. You wonder, just tell the person when you're coming, don't bring this or bring this. If you're going to come into the country and you have a drone, we might confiscate it because of 1, 2, 3 things. But now when you confiscate the drone and then you don't return it, that sends a message to other Africans that when you come in here, don't come with such things. Don't do this. Don't do that. If I want a visa to go to a certain country, it's the
mm.
hardest thing to get. But if I want a visa right now to go to Qatar, I can get it today. Today. If I want a visa to go to Dubai right now as a Kenyan, it's the easiest thing to get as long as it's a visit visa. A business visa might take a bit of time, but I'll get it easily. But moving across the continent,
That is the
I never
problem.
understood why.
I recently saw a summit they hosted. I think your leader, whether your president or something, made a point that I mean, moving Africans, we don't need to go into another African country. You don't need a visa. I mean, why should you move from
You don't need it.
Kenya coming to Ghana? You need visa. Going to Uganda, you have to take visa and all that. All these things, they have to open borders for us to, I mean, move around. Though there can be a check, but
Yes.
you have to move around. I mean, why do you need visa before you go to here? You go to Nigeria, you go to Ghana, visa and
Mm.
all that. I mean, and when you go to Europe, these people they don't take visa. I mean, when you go
They
to
don't.
if you are from Netherlands going to Belgium,
Mhm.
you don't need a visa. You are going
At all.
to wherever. They just move around and do their business. But look at us, Africans.
Big problem. You'll find a place like Kenya, a Kenyan going to South Africa right now. There's a 90-day visa free that was set up for Kenyans going to South Africa. That one works. But I look at it from a business perspective, and I'm like, why just 90 days? It's we're within Africa. Why is it just 90 days? Then you look at a president like Kagame, who has set up a country where now you can come and visit and do all types of business and registering the business, and it's easy because there's so many Kenyans in Rwanda right now. That's how I know much about the place. He has set up a place where it's so easy to do business there, and then you come back to our country or other places, it becomes, even registering a business takes you a long time. Just simply registering a name and a business, it takes you a long time. And I'm like, why is it so hard to just make things work simply so that you can just move with ease? Yet when you go to other countries outside Africa, it just becomes a big problem. And the way even YouTube, sadly to say this, the way even YouTube is set up, you'll find the way you're paid for the views and the way somebody is paid for views outside Africa, it's
Mm,
sad because it's lower. It is way lower. You'll find an app like TikTok. I can mention this. An app like TikTok, the creative tools, the creator fund is not available here, but it's available
mm,
outside Africa. So you find,
mm.
for us to make money, you have to go live. You must go live for you to ask people to send you gifts, send you money for this, so that you can continue doing this. I don't know what happens with the Africans. Just to end this,
Africa. Oh,
it is set up in a way that whatever you do, you stay there. It is limited. You want you to stay there, stay down there. And if you try to get up, unless you leave the continent, you are still suppressed. Stay there. Don't move. Then when you try to move, let's say into another country within Africa, they don't want you to move. So when you move, it becomes hard so that you give up and stay wherever you are. It is sad. It's very, very sad. Yeah.
Now, most of the youth are living to abroad. Is this happening in Kenya too?
Oh
I
yes.
mean,
Yes, yes.
hustling, they want to move out, they want to go to abroad and all that. They are moving out and all that. Is it happening in Kenya too?
Yes, and in larger numbers now than before. Why? It's
Oh,
because the way right now is set up, they are marketing. There's a lot of marketing around happening in the country right now for people to move into other countries, go to Israel, go here, go there, because there is that lie being told there is more money there. Yes, there is, for a person who has moved out of the country once, there is more money, but the kind of lifestyle that you're leading and the things that you're going to do on a long-term basis does not make sense for most of us. If you ask people who are outside their country of Africa,
mm,
when they move into those countries, they make the money, yes, but mentally it is draining because of the how much you have to work. You
mm,
sleep 4 5 hours, back to work. You sleep 5 hours the next day, back to work. It's sad. But the way people are moving right now outside this country, it's it's scary. It is actually scary. The youths
mm.
they are living in large numbers. Every day when I post videos, sometimes people come into the inbox and people asking me, do you know a recruiting agent that can send me to a certain country? And I'm like, I can't give you this kind of information because some of these agents also, they are not here to do good jobs for you. So you'll find when they give you these jobs and you leave, you also have so much charges before you leave. Let's say you like for a good example, when you live in this country, sometimes when you're going to say Dubai or Qatar or Saudi Arabia, they'll charge you a certain amount so that you can leave. For you to make that money back, you have to work for a few months so that you can sustain yourself and still pay this. And then most people take up loans. So you have the charges that you pay the agent, there's a loan that you're servicing, and let's say you have a family, you still have to service this family. And then living there, the life you are used to eating here, like that basic food that I was saying, eating ugali here and the scrambled eggs, the avocado. If you try and eat like that there, with the salary that you're going to be paid, without knowing, you will end up spending all that money because the life there is a bit more expensive than you are used to. But when people get there, they don't understand this. They don't look at it like that. So they just keep spending and spending. So it becomes a cycle. By the time this person comes back, most of them have nothing. They have nothing to show. I have friends who have come back to this country after 5 years of staying abroad, and they have nothing to show because of that cycle. You just taking the money, using it, spending it here. It is sad. It is actually sad. What I'll say is, this country, if you are able to educate ourselves and understand, when you're in a city like Nairobi, if you can just set up something to sell to people, people will buy. That is one of the worst things that we have not been taught. So people have been
Yes,
taught
yes.
just to.
Talking about setting up something,
Mhm.
it's part of our education. I mean, learning a
Yes.
skill. Do we learn
Mhm.
a skill? Do we have a skill? Most of these youth, they want to travel outside, or maybe they are in Kenya or we are in Africa. We
Mhm.
don't have a skill. We don't. There are so many opportunities around us, but because we don't have a skill, we don't want to create. We don't want to start it
Yes.
small. We think
Mhm.
maybe, oh, unless we travel to abroad before we can make it. I always
Yes.
say it on my channel.
Mhm.
So around us, do we create something? Are we creative? Do you have a skill? Do you have some skill?
I'll answer that in three parts. One, just pick the Afrobeat music that we have, mostly from Nigerians. You look at the way they make their music. It has been a long time coming because it was still there
Mm,
even in the 80s. It has been a long
mm,
time coming. But the reason why it has stayed this long, it is because we ourselves were not accepting it. So the skill for music and creating that music and performance is already there.
Yeah, yeah.
You take music from South Africa. Here I'm solely on music. Take music from South Africa. Before we had a piano music, we had Kwaito music, which is technically the same thing, just fastened. You look at the way these people dance and the way they create this music. Once the world has seen how it is, that's why people are accepting it now fully, because they can see and feel the music. They can feel the emotions that are being emanated or propagated by this song. Then you'll come to a country like this, like Kenya. Just look at, like, I think we have the first African lady in NASA. She's Kenyan. So the skills are there. We have all the skills that you need
Mm-hmm.
in this world
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
within Kenya, within Africa. But
Mm-hmm.
now most of us don't know how to use them, because when you start to do something here, you're not taught to use it. You're taught, you have this, first get an A in school and then go to university, then you'll get a job. You're suppressed. That skill is suppressed. That is why people are keep moving outside the country, because their skill, they have been told, here you're not supposed to do this, here you're supposed to get this job. Then when they go out there, they realize, if this skill people are using it here to make money, maybe I can come back and do it. That is why you'll find, I'm using people that all of us know. That is why you'll find, like, Spamon, like Waldemar went to China and came back because he realized, this is not for me. I think I should be doing this, and then it works. So when we have more people like that who are showing us, do this and make it work, without thinking, without stressing, just try it and make it work. That is the only time you'll find these youths that are living will sit here and find a way to take up their skills. I always tell people, pick up a phone, start recording yourself with whatever skill that you have. Show people that you have it. There are people here who have created, it's funny to say, but there are people who have created planes, small planes, using just local materials. I've seen guys in West Africa making cars with just materials around there. There's a guy in Zimbabwe who made some gadgets that doesn't use electricity. He just connects it to the phone, the TV, and it creates energy for some reason, and it works. So the skills we have, it is how to market them that we don't know how to do so. That is a problem we have here.
We don't get support.
The support.
All those people you mentioned,
Mhm.
they created something, but are they getting the support to do it, to encourage them to do it big?
I used to, if you ask me this question like 5 years ago, I would complain about it, about the support. Then you leave this country and you realize you can't change that, because the system that you already have has been set up like that. The only thing someone can do is find a way to use that system against itself, so that you can move, so that you can maneuver. These people I'm talking about, you'll find the only reason it has worked is when we interact like this. Like today, I saw, technically speaking, I saw your message in the morning and reached out, and we are here now doing this video together. Most of the people we have in this country, or even within Africa, they don't want to come together, help each other out, because you're gaining from it, I'm gaining from it, and people are going to gain from this conversation. They don't want to do that. But when they hear somebody outside the continent wants them to do something, even for the least amount of pay, they take it. So they'll take that little money or whatever it is for that exposure, but not from within ourselves. So working with people within ourselves becomes the hardest thing that you can do, because they don't want to do it with you. They're looking at you based on their mindset, like it's like they're helping you or they're making you grow. And that messes us up fully, because you reaching simply a million subscribers on YouTube is very easy when you're doing it, let's say in America, because people want to do it with you. Everybody wants you in their podcast, so reaching the numbers is very easy. Here,
Easy, yeah.
getting people to come and do podcast with you, it is the hardest thing you can do. The
They will
hardest
not
thing.
come.
They don't want to do it. They're forgetting simply having your name in front of other people, even without any gain, any monetary gain. it helps because with time you're going to help one person, that other person will, someone will see you, and that person who will see you, that is the person who you were supposed to see you in the first place, but has to have met you doing it. People don't want to accept, don't want to think
Is it
about
is
life.
it the way we were? It looks like it's a problem everywhere in Africa. Is it the way we were brought up, or what?
If
Not
we go
supporting
deep,
each other and all that?
if we go deep into this, the biggest problem we have here is the education system we have. It is been set
Mm,
up in a way that you're not supposed to think. You're not supposed to
mm,
think. You're supposed to just listen, take orders, and go
mm,
do actualize those
mm.
orders. Don't think. The minute you start thinking, someone, it's like someone comes and suppresses you so that you go back to doing what you're supposed to be doing. That is why you'll find our education system from the time you were born. A teacher walks into a class, you're supposed to stand. You don't know why, but you're supposed to stand. And then they tell you to sit, you sit. You notice that when we are grown, when a certain person walks into a room, everybody stands up. You ask them, why are you standing? They don't know, because they've been taught that since the time they were born. So when you go to school, you're taught to take in information and then regurgitate it, but don't use it. So most of us know a lot when it comes to even the AI that is happening right now, but they
Mm,
don't know how to
mm.
use it because they've been taught, learn, take it in, stop, don't use it. Until maybe you have an exam, don't use it, just keep it there, and then go to work. Don't use this information, just continue being the way you are and don't use it. Then you'll find it's a thing that all Africans are taught. It's exactly the same, even if you go to
Mm.
any country. Then, lastly, with this point, you'll find we are not taught to embrace growth within ourselves. We are taught to look outwards, not within. So, what I mean by this is, if you ever sit down and talk to a person from outside any country outside Africa, they're taught to create something, like especially Americans, create something, even if you're 2 years old or 3 years old. Like you look at a person like Zuckerberg, who created Facebook in school. The minute they realize he's creating something, all of them want to help. You need some money, take. You need an investment, take. But here you're not taught. When you start creating something, even your own community, your own family, your own friends,
They will
because of the
discourage
way they
you.
have been taught, they want to destroy you, because they feel like, this one, why is this one thinking different? Why is this one thinking like this? We don't want you to think like, why are you moving upwards and you're leaving us behind? Even me living in this country was a big problem, telling friends I'm going to Qatar. They're like, why are you leaving us? They won't tell you like that, but you can tell this person is not happy because
Mhm.
of the way we've been taught. And it is messing up everything. And I don't know exactly what we need to do, but the systems that the governments have put in place, if something is not done continuously, we are going to continue with this cycle for way more longer than we think. We think we have independence, but we don't have independence, because in our minds we are still suppressed, and
Mm,
we don't even know that we're not free per se, as the people say. It is
mm,
a freedom that you think you are, but once you start trying to do something important, you can't. You
mm.
really can't. Yes.
It's a serious issue, and good you have also realized it, and it
Yes.
looks like whether it's a competition among us,
Mm,
we can come together to support and maybe take ideas and try to
we
build
don't.
something. But it looks like when this one sees this, okay, no, I'm hiding myself. I want it alone. I want it alone.
Yes.
This one, it looks like it's a competition. I don't know. I don't know what is the main problem, but uh, we need to change. Maybe we are preaching this so that the youth that are coming
Yes.
up will also change from that mentality. We can come
Mm,
together as a team. You know, when you go to school, they will say, okay, who is the first person in class? Oh, I'm the first,
yeah.
and all that, and always you see, so it's like a competition. You understand?
Always.
I always want it, but when you look at this Western world people, they are in groups.
Always.
You
Yes.
pair them
Yes.
groups, okay. I mean, come together and do this, but it's like we alone always. So we want to be first. I want to get this. I want to get so. I mean, it's a problem.
And it's sad. It's very sad.
It's a
You
problem.
see,
So we are not developing.
mhm.
We are not
It's
going
sad.
up.
It's sad because it's sad to say this, but it's a reality of things. We are set up in a way. It's a slavery of minds.
Mm.
Those people outside Africa are set up in a way. When you come together, and everybody who's in a sense of power knows this. When people come together, they are able to do things and do big things.
Yeah.
But in Africa, everything that you start from the time you are high, from the time you start speaking, is set up in a way you're taught to do things by yourself. So that, because they know when you come together, you unite. Indians say ekata. Ekata means unity or unify. You're not taught to unite together. You're taught to think as one, as a loner, because they know when you think alone, most of the times you can't move. Me speaking to you right now, if I continue doing this TikTok, that I was the place you found me, by myself without any form of help, I can go just far. But until I start embracing other people to just simply have discussions, meetups, it will never move. So we are not taught to do these things like this. We are taught, be alone, you stay in that slavery of mind, and don't do things. Just stay there, enjoy, and don't want much. So you'll find even the dreams that we have, if you ask an African the type of dream that he has, and then you take an American 5 to 10 years old, their dreams are so different because ours is so low. An African will want, let me just pick one. An African will want, at the optimum level of success, will just say, I want to be maybe an MCA, because most of the people here have been taught, for you to make money, you have to go into government. So I want to be a member of parliament, or when they ask the car, they'll say a Land Cruiser, and that's it. That's the level. But you ask somebody outside Africa, which kind of car do you want? They'll start selling you cars like Rolls Royces. I want a Ferrari. But you tell someone here that, and they look at how much that car is. They can't even fathom that somebody has that much money to buy one car or two or 10 and just be exchanging them every day. Here it's that slavery of mind. It's diminishing, and it's worrying. And those dreams, we're not even taught to dream big. We say it, but we are not taught how to. We say you should think the way our parents used to tell us. You should think twice. Don't just speak. But then you sit down and you've not taught the kid how to think, because there's thinking, and there's being taught how to actually think. Yeah, the dreams that we have here, they are so small. You just want to become a member of parliament so that you have money. Then why? It doesn't make sense. You're not taught to think, why don't I start a company, grow it into this level, because I'm solving a certain problem, move it into other places and solve bigger problems. Outside there, they are taught, start a company that can solve problems for billions of people. Don't even think about the money. The money will come. We'll give you the money. You'll find hedge funds give you the money. Investors just come to you and give you the money. In Africa, whatever you start, for you to get an investment of even $100, it is such a big deal, unless you're Muslim. Muslims, at least to some extent, they still have this culture of, they come together and do things together. And we've seen it, especially in Nairobi. They will come together and even create an entire town out of Nairobi. The same way Chinese come here and create an entire space just for them, and they move. You see, they're doing it together. But we fail to identify this because our dreams, they are still, we are still dreaming so small. It is I don't know what we have to do. But we have to be taught. We have to come up with systems to teach people how to think and how to dream big as you wake up in the morning and you're scared. Because they say, if you're not scared, there's something is off. Something is not right. You need to be scared every day. Even coming to do an interview like this, I don't know what you're going to ask, but you have to do it so that once the questions ask, you know whether you actually know something or you don't, so that next time when someone else calls you, I made a mistake here. I was saying too many hours. He asked me a question about this. I had no clue about it. That is how we learn, but you're not taught to do these things. Yes. Mm.
we always we have to try in
We
everything.
have
You
to.
have to give a try, go out, try.
Yeah.
If you fail,
Hmm.
you sit back, you get your you correct your mistakes, then you move on.
Yes.
You see, but if you don't try it, how will you know your mistakes?
You can't. But you see, it's because in school you're not taught to self-analyze yourself. You're not even taught to analyze things. So even when you get a job, you're not taught to analyze the company before you go into the interview. So you're not taught, when I go to a company, I need to first become a certain type of a person that the company needs. So that self-analyzing, we don't do it because no one tells us you're supposed to do this. Simply by doing it and then going back and asking yourself questions. Why did I do this like this? Why did I say this? Did I mispronounce a word? Did I say something that is not supposed to be said? Because it's going to mess up. It's not going to be seen. This video is going to be seen by kids. Did I curse? No. Did I curse? Yes. When I talked about God, did I say a certain thing that people now will come for me because I mentioned God in a bad way, in a bad light? You're not self-analyzing as you speak or as you say things or as you do things. People just do. And when you live like this, you'll get to, if you're blessed, you'll get to 90 or 100, and you have not lived because you've just been existing based on what you've been told to do. So you wake up and you're told you're supposed to have breakfast. Edward Bernays is the one who started this thing of breakfast. He was called the king of propaganda. So you're told you're supposed to have breakfast like this: your tea, your eggs, your bacon, and that is what people do. But you don't ask yourself why. Why are you doing that? Must you have that breakfast because it's been taught to you? Must you wear this type of clothes before because you've been told you're supposed to wear a suit like this, not with a scarf, or with a scarf you're supposed to wear it? You don't want to look at these things and just simply ask why. That is why these ideologies that we have every day nowadays, masculinity, feminism, and all that, that is why they're happening, and people are accepting them because they're not asking that. Why am I being told this? What is the plan? What is the agenda for this? We're just doing it.
Joa, do you think a religion is also part of the problem?
You have touched one of those things that society doesn't like to be told truths when it comes to religion. So I'll put it. I like putting things in alphabetic order. So I'll put it in three ways. One, spirituality in itself is is within. The way you believe in God, the way a Muslim believes in Allah, we have the same God. So being spiritual has nothing to do with religion, nothing whatsoever. The way you believe in yourself, the things that you can see, the way you can identify a living being or a living creature cannot exist without a feminine and masculine side. That is spiritual. But religion, my now point number two, religion was put in place for simply control. Religion is simply to control, because even if you take your time outside the way we go to churches and mosques and all that, just go through the book itself and realize that some of the things that you're being told there are the same things you're being taught in school. Do this, do that. If you don't do this and do that, this is going to happen to you. But then you go sit down and ask, why are we doing this thing like this? It's because you want people to be set a certain way so that you're able to rule over them. That is how religion works. That is why you're even told, don't question this. You're not supposed to question religion at all. Yeah? Revelation at the end, it tells you, do not add or change anything in this book. It is written there. I might not know exact chapter, but it is written there. So because anybody who starts questioning the law or the order of things is put in their place, because that one person or that one ant, when it stands against the others, they might start enlightening these people. And these people, when they open up their minds to see what is happening, boom, they are messed up. The order of things ends. Number three, religion for most people right now, especially if you look at the way it's working right now, religion has a way of demasculizing the men first, because they know when men are not following God, anytime a man is not following God, the family falls. Because the way we say the head of the family is the man. No, it's not the way it's taught to people that the head is the one who's supposed to say this is supposed to happen. This no, the head is the pillar. In that, down there, you're the one who has the basis for how the family is going to grow. The woman simply is an incubator who comes and takes in what the man has given, and then because an incubator, if you put eggs in an incubator, they give you chicks. So if you give a woman stress, she gives you more stress. So whatever you give this woman, she gives you way more than you had given her. So the man has to be a basis for good. And they know that when this man is godly, fully godly, and spiritually godly, when that person stands and pushes the family towards God, they know the order of the day and the way the systems are placed, it is going to stop. That is why these ideologies of feminism and masculinity, they are demoralizing the men. Even the way we have, even sorry to say, even the way we have pornography online, it is directed to men because they know once the men continue doing the things they're doing and watching this thing, you're demoralizing this man. You're telling this man you're supposed to be like this. Don't stand tall. Don't stand firm. Just sit and wait. And then you lie to the women that you need to come and now become the man. And naturally, you are not the man in this thing. The things that you might teach or do cannot work. You being like this, the separation now here for religion, you separating men like this and women like this, it is able to control. The order of the system is able to control and move forward with ease because there is no man to fight. That is why even nowadays, men are not getting into the military because they have become extremely weak. You tell a man to simply stand tall and say something of importance to society. How many nowadays can sit like this and have a conversation with fellow men? Forget about other people. With just fellow men and actually have something to say that other men will say, yes, young man, yes, that one, you've spoken. They are very few because the demasculization is working and it is working more and more and more. Even the way things are being pushed to dress up like this, dress up like that, it's to demoralize men because when men stand up in religion and actually follow God to the letter, this society will be a very different society. Men have conquered places. We as Africans were conquered because of men who decided we are going to do this. But now, how many of us as men can even say we're going to conquer this? We're going to build this. They're very few. Very, very few. Yeah?
It's a problem. Anyway, Joel, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
You're welcome.
I'll be hosting you. I'll find time. We'll be doing more of different topics and all that. I'll bring you again. I mean, so any regrets in life so far?
That's a very good question.
Hmm.
And I'll say this again. If you asked me that question a few years back, I would give you myriads of answers as to the things I regret. But right now, the only thing I would say I would regret is saying I'll do something and not doing it. If I've gotten to a point where I decided to take action on it, that if I say I'm going to do something, like I told you we are going to do this interview, and you gave me a certain time, and I told you I'll call you, I'll text you before so that we can organize. At that 2 p.m., I would rather you get late. Simply life happens for you so that you experience it and you interact with it. If you stay in a certain spot and become comfortable in that spot, that is where this name regrets comes in. Because you've decided this has happened to me, so I'm going to become this negative. Let's say something bad happened to you, because for young men or for young ladies, the first person you date dictates the person you're going to become or the person you're going to date for life, because you're still attached to that person and the things that they did to you. That now becomes a regret, instead of saying, what did I learn from this breakup that I can use in the next, so that I become a certain person for the next man or woman that I'm going to date. So regret for me is no longer part of my vocabulary at all.
Nice one, Joe. Thank you so much for coming on my show. I mean, before you leave, any shout outs and also your social media handles, so those who want to follow you, what's the social media handles, and then if any shout outs, you can give shout outs.
My social media handles online, all social media platforms is Joel M Karaoke. All of them. YouTube,
So
X.
same name on the screen, right?
Yes. I use the same name on all social media platforms. I'm very active on X and Twitter. Twitter it's the X right now, and then TikTok and YouTube, and also Instagram. Then shout outs would be to any person who's doing anything to do with speaking to people. Let's talk. If you're doing anything to do with speaking to people to make them think about themselves, because I make videos that are thought provoking, so that you have an idea, you change the way you think. So any person who has a following that you need us to sit down, I don't care if it is 200 followers or 300. If you have a platform that people can listen to you, and we can talk to people anywhere in the world, because nowadays things have become easier. You're in Ghana, I'm in Kenya, and we are doing this anywhere in the world. Let's talk. Reach out. Let's talk. Let's do something together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joel, for coming on my show. All the best, my brother. Straight from Kenya, you heard his story and also his experience in life, what he has also seen, and all that. I mean, guys, let's help together. Let's come together. Let's listen to one another. I mean, let's learn. I mean, it's very important. If you want to come on my show, that's why I created this platform. If you want to come on my show, my numbers are on the screens, as you can see. Just WhatsApp me or send me a voice, or wherever you are, we can talk. If you're in Africa, you are outside Africa, wherever you are, we can talk. So link up. Let's have a vibe. My name is DJ Nyame. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on all social media handles. We have our TikTok too as well, SBTV International. So follow us. Our website is sbtvafrica.com. Link up, guys. Thank you so much. Peace out.